So, it was just before 10 o'clock this morning when the fire department responded to Labyrinth and Reisterstown Road for a report of some sort of explosion. Once firefighters was on the scene, it was pretty obvious that some sort of explosion did in fact occur, involving a total of 3 homes. At this time, there were 5 people that were involved in that, 3 of which were transported in serious condition to the hospital. We have 1 adult woman who was pronounced deceased on the scene, and we are actively recovering 2 additional people. In fact, 1 person was rescued and being transported just moments ago. Right now, it's unclear on what caused the explosion. We are continuing to search for any additional occupants that may or possibly could have been in the homes. And again, the cause remains under investigation.
So you're still actively looking possibly for 1 individual in the debris?
We have our eyes on 1 additional person that we're trying to pull out right now.
Tell us if they are a child?
At this time, it's unclear on the age or gender. We don't have that information right now. It's still a pretty active scene.
Tell us about the 2 people that just...
I'm sorry?
Is that person responding to...
We don't have that information right now, but we have our eyes on that person.
2 people just came out on stretchers. I asked one lady, are you okay? She gave a thumbs up, and another just came out. Can you tell me where they were, what was involved in that rescue?
It was 3 homes involved, so we're not sure where they were in either of their homes or what floor they were on. But what we do know is that they were beneath all of the rubble.
Can you describe the rescue then and the feeling among the people?
What's the
Can
question?
you describe the rescue and the feeling among the rescuers?
It's a labor-intensive rescue. It was a major gas explosion. So you have homes that were, pretty much crumbled. A ton of debris on the ground. So we're pulling and trying to comb through to see if we can find any additional occupants.
Let me just say this has been a joint effort. And first of all, we want to thank our Baltimore County members who stepped in and working with us. So this is a joint operation that we're doing right now, and we're working diligently. As Blair said, this is a very labor-intense situation. So we are on top of it and trying to see if there are any other victims that are involved at this point in time. As far as the cause of this incident, it's strictly under investigation at this point.
What type of equipment are you using to either remove debris? We saw the bobcat, the backhoe. Is that for BG&E cable gas lines? Exactly the equipment process.
That equipment just came in. Right now, we're not using that. Our firefighters have been basically using their hands and tools, searching for people at this point in time. Our search and rescue units are on the scene. Our collapse units are on the scene. We're shoring up things. We're getting all the support from all other agencies at this time. So this is a very joint operation, as I said, and we are working diligently to try to make sure that we're recovering every victim that may be involved in this situation.
Utilities to the immediate area, have they been shut off?
Most of the utilities have been shut off, and what we're doing, we're also checking additional homes within the area. This was a very intense explosion to this point.
Can you tell us if windows have
Next
been...
question over here. Lo?
Can you remember any type of explosion like this happening before over the years? It seems like this is pretty...
Years back, we had one over in East Baltimore similar to this, where basically the walls fell down. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember, we actually lost a kid walking home from school. I remember that very vividly. But right now, this is a horrendous type situation that we're dealing with at this point.
We heard windows were blown out from nearby homes. Is that true?
Adjacent homes as well.
Right.
Mark, can you say whether any children were hurt?
We don't
It's
know.
unclear.
And do you know which houses specifically were involved?
We don't have the actual addresses.
But it's
of
a
all
total
at
of
this
3.
point. But it's a total of 3 homes.
The 4200 block of Labyrinth Road.
Correct. As we were coming up to the additional people that were pulled from the rubble, they are being transported as well. 4 so far, yes, and the other one may be getting ready to be transported.
So right now you are possibly looking at other individuals.
We have to confirm the number. We are unclear at this time.
Take one more question.
Yeah, I had a chance to look around, but all I want to say is I just want to offer my prayers to all of the people who lived in these houses and the surrounding community. I just want to offer my prayers that everyone turns out safe. I know they still have a rescue, with a couple more people, but all I want to do is offer my prayers, Mr. President.
Thank you. I mean, listen, this is a tragedy. What we need Baltimore to do right now is pray. Pray that we're able to find folks. Pray that we're able to get these folks out of here. You can see the devastation that this has caused for the community. You can imagine the pain and frustration that folks are feeling. We have to be thankful to our first responders, fire, EMS, emergency management, thankful to the Baltimore County for their assistance. But right now, this is just something that we all have to be hopeful as they continue to work, that we're able to get more people out of here.
You're absolutely right. There's at least 3 homes that are totally destroyed. It has the looks of a gas explosion at this location from what the debris I can see. I can tell you one person has been transported to shock trauma. One person has been transported to Sinai. City firefighters in the process of doing a rescue right now, trying to get 2 individuals out of the rubble in the group that you see there underneath the trees. I mean, it's just mass devastation here in northwest Baltimore. They have a 2 alarm, if you want to call it, worth of manpower that has responded to this explosion. Units from Baltimore City, units from Baltimore County, and you can see it's nothing but rubble. There's one section here where the whole roof just ended up collapsing straight down on top of the residents. We figure at least 3 homes, maybe 4. It's too hard to tell with all the debris, but you can see there's a massive amount of debris and destruction here in northwest Baltimore. Now, fire crews have set up a triage operation. They have set up an area to try and check the other homes to make sure there's no other gas leaks whatsoever. BGE has been called. Neighborhood Services has been called. Building inspectors have been called. I mean, it's just an all-hands-on-deck situation up here in northwest Baltimore. Stan. Yeah, if you're on the north side of Reisterstown Road Plaza, it's literally 1 block just north of the main shopping area here. So it would be like in the middle of the plaza, 1 block north of that location. So it would be on the west side of Reisterstown Road. And between what I can see here, City Police has blocked off southbound Reisterstown Road about 2 or 3 blocks north of the location. And you have City Police have blocked it just south of the plaza here to keep traffic from going up there, because there's still more units responding to this location here dealing with this explosion. Now, from what I can see here, the amount of equipment is just unbelievable for what's going on here. Like I said, they pulled a second alarm, but they have a complete triage section set up for EMS personnel to deal with the wounded. Rescue crews are still diligently trying to go through the wreckage from the explosion. And it's just nothing but, like I said before, all hands on deck. Figure at least 3 blocks are that they're dealing with as far as debris and destruction, as far as north and south of this location. And if you were going east and west, figure, at least a half a block in that direction. So the way the explosion spread itself out, we can see windows from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 homes on the north side where all the windows have been blown out. We don't know if anyone was injured in those homes. And on the south side, pretty much the same thing, at least 7 homes where the windows have been blown out facing the street there. So right now, like we said before, a lot going on here, and if it's just amazing with what I've seen. I've seen house explosions before, which has normally been just like 1, but when you have this much of a block destroyed, it must have been one heck of a gas main leak that caused this scenario. I don't know if the house that originally had the gas leak was occupied or unoccupied, but obviously there were homes here that were occupied, and city fire crews are diligently trying to do a rescue right now to get those individuals out of the rubble. Yeah, I know there's at least 2 people in one section that they're trying to get out. And because there's like at least 3 homes, maybe 4, there's just a wide search area here. You can see rescue crews there with the white helmets there on the backboards, but they're diligently digging underneath the rubble here. They're going to have to get some equipment in here from the city to assist with trying to dig in here, some excavating equipment to try and remove some of the stuff. Well, there's actually more than 5 or 6 guys in here. Everybody's using hand, and they got to be careful as they move around here because they don't want to injure the people that are trapped here. But if you can see, there looks like there's some smoke starting to come up here that they're dealing with now. So they're going to have to get some water on this fire. They have to be careful if they make sure that the gas has been shut off so that they don't inadvertently. He just went underneath of us again, Bob. Well, there's a fire going on right now that you can see the smoke that Bobby is putting in there. There is a little bit of a fire that is going on, but I would figure that would have been from the explosion, not from an original. I don't believe the original call was a house fire. I believe the original call was just for the explosion. And from what I'm hearing on the scanner traffic is that it was definitely some type of gas explosion at this location. And if you look at the damage, it makes common sense that it was some type of gas explosion here that occurred to wipe out this many homes and cause this much damage in the neighborhood. I just don't know if the initial building was occupied or unoccupied, but I did hear calls or reports that people were smelling gas prior to this explosion. So, that's what they're kind of leaning to. But like I said, they've got the building inspectors responding. You can still see them in there digging by hand, but you can see that they have a little bit of a, fire going on here while they're trying to get into this area here. We understand there's 2 people under the rubble here that they're trying to get to right now. So they're still diligently working here to try and conduct a rescue.
Just an update from earlier. As we mentioned, just before 10 o'clock this morning, we did have some sort of explosion at Labyrinth and Reisterstown Road. It has been confirmed that we had a total of 6 people who were transported to the hospital in serious condition with 1 confirmed fatality. At this time, our members are continuing to work to remove debris, to clear the area, to check to see if, in fact, there are any other possible victims that may be involved. Right now, we do have our partnering agencies. We have Office of Emergency Management, Red Cross, and housing on the scene to provide some sort of assistance and temporary shelter for the residents involved. It's unclear at this time, but we are working diligently to determine the total homes that were involved in this explosion, as well as those that perhaps could have been affected by it. So right now, we'll turn it over to Mr. Mayor for additional comments.
First of all, I want to thank all of the agencies that have come together to help us in Baltimore City. We got Howard County, and we also have Baltimore County who sent their personnel here to help us. This is a unusual thing that's happened. A lot of houses have been destroyed. A lot of windows have been shattered in this community. And me and the council president just want everyone to pray for these people who have been affected, and thanking all of the businesses that have called us and said they want to supply water, food and those kind of things. So we just want to say thank you to all of them. And I want to thank our fire department, our Office of Emergency Management, and our Department of Housing for being on the scene, making sure that they check with each and every resident to make sure that there's no gas leaks in their houses, and try to make sure that we work with Red Cross to try to get people into some stabilization in some homes and hotels if we can. We just want to make sure that we take care of these people because it's our duty to make sure that we take care of them. Mr. President?
Thank you. I want to reiterate, we all know what's happening here today, and I want everybody in the city really to rally around those individuals that are still fighting for their lives. That's what we should put all our hopes, all our prayers, all our energy into those individuals and their families, and just hoping that we can support them to survive through this. This is a tragic incident. We're very grateful to all the first responders, all the city help, all the professional help, those from the other counties that came to help us in this tragic incident. But I need the entire city of Baltimore right now to focus on hopeful prayers for those individuals that have impacted by this. This is something that no one should ever have to experience, but we know that we have families that and people that are fighting for their lives, so that's where our energy should be. So thank you. And thank you to BGE too for coming here, being on scene, being able to help out with an incident that was very in flux and everything like that. So it's very critical to have our partnerships across the board.
I'm sorry. Who's next? I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Linda Foy with Baltimore Gas and Electric. BGE is continuing to work to turn the gas off to this area. We're now working to turn off the gas main, which will likely take customers out who've been largely unaffected by this event, but that's what we need to do in order to make the area safe. And once we make the area safe, we can then begin to make repairs and to also understand what happened. And there's certain parts of our gas system that we're not able to get to right now because of the recovery efforts that are underway. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are with the families that have been affected by this. There may also be customers who are without electric service right now. It's my understanding that this incident caused some damage to the electric lines as well. We are working to restore those customers. But if there are customers who are without electric service at this time, we would ask that they either report it through our mobile app or give us a call. But certainly our number one priority is and always will be to keep our employees and our customers as safe as possible. And we will not compromise that as this investigation and this process is ongoing. Thank you.
And before we take any questions, we just want to make sure that we don't forget our partner agencies who has provided any assistance. And we want to thank MTA, of course, because they provided 3 buses for the residents who have been displaced, just for some temporary shelter until we find something a little bit more permanent so they can stay out of the heat and where they can sit in the air. So we do want to thank them. Questions?
Can you tell us more about the search and rescue operation? Has anyone been recovered? Are you still looking?
At this time, it's still active. It's a pretty active scene. We've been out here before 10 o'clock this morning, and we have been working pretty hard and aggressively to make sure that we remove all the debris and the rubble to check to see if there is even any other victims inside.
At noon, you said you had eyes on one other person. Did that person get recovered?
That has not been confirmed. Again, we have 6 people that was transported and 1 confirmed dead. That's all the information that we have on victims at this time. We do not have that information. It's still pretty active. We're searching. So it's a rescue operation. So right now we're still searching. Hold on.
Question here.
We're prepared to be here throughout the night and as long as it takes. Again, it's still pretty active. We haven't determined if there are any other victims. So again, we're working diligently. We're trying to make sure that we comb through every area to determine if there are any victims inside.
Ethnicity of the victims, and also how many people have been displaced.
We do not have an exact number on the total displaced. OEM, Red Cross, and Housing, they have been going door to door to check with residents to see who was affected by this and how many homes. So we don't have that total just yet.
What about the ethnicity?
I'm sorry?
The ethnicity of the victims.
It's unclear. We don't have their sex, their race, or ages at this time.
Are there any reports of missing persons?
I'm sorry?
Are there any reports of missing persons?
It's unclear at this time. And then right now we'll bring up the rep from Red Cross so he can talk about their efforts.
Okay. Good afternoon.
That's okay.
Might have to just hold it up.
All right, let me try again. I'm sorry, folks. Paul Carden, C-A-R-D-E-N.
Hold on for a second.
We're waiting for an official with Red Cross to give us an update on Red Cross's contribution to the several agencies assisting the Baltimore City Fire Department, including the Office of Emergency Management, the MTA.
Okay, Paul Carden, C-A-R-D-E-N.
Paul Carden with Red Cross.
With the American Red Cross, National Capital, Chesapeake region. Right now, we're involved with the city in the first part of our response. We've established a reception center. We have city buses. We're bringing in Gatorade, water, meals, have counselors present. So right now we're providing a safe place for residents to stay. Tonight, once we find out how many people cannot return to their homes, we'll make arrangements for them to find a safe, secure place to stay tonight, most likely a hotel. Tomorrow we'll begin working one-on-one with the families whose homes have been destroyed, who have injured family members, or have lost a loved one in the explosion. Our services will be mental health, spiritual help, health services. We'll also have our volunteers provide financial assistance, information, and referrals. So this is the beginning with our city partners on a very long, complex recovery process for those who were affected by this tragic disaster today.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
A lot of people, because it happened in mid-morning, there were a lot of people home at the time because they telecommute. And there were a lot of people in this neighborhood home anyway, for whatever reason, and they all had to evacuate or shelter in place. We did catch up with a lady who was in the middle of a business work conference call when all of a sudden, in her words, she heard the loudest boom she's ever heard in her life. Let's listen to more of what she had to say.
Yes, well, I was in the basement at the time. I was getting ready to do a Zoom live for work, and all of a sudden there was this loud kaboom, like it shook me. And I've never heard nothing like that in my life, and I didn't know what it was. I went running upstairs. We went running upstairs, and there was all of those houses was blown up. So I was like hysterical. I just went all to pieces. I didn't know what happened. I went back down and tried to grab what I could and to get out.
When you said it was a loud boom, loudest you've ever heard?
I never heard nothing like that in my life. I've never. I'm 60. I ain't never heard nothing like that in my life. Oh, my God. I'm grateful to God for being here.
Yeah. When you looked out the window, describe what you saw.
Out the window, we opened the door and looked out, and it looked like there was no houses there for a long time. Like, had never been any houses there. And I know they were there. They were there last night. Oh, my God.
Did you see anybody or hear anybody?
No. Everybody in the neighborhood came running out of the houses to look. So we were panicking. I really went into a panic. I just lost it.
And now we see you behind police lines. Did police ask you to go here, or did you voluntarily do it?
No, they pushed us back. See these ropes? They pushed us back. We can't go over there because they think it's still a gas leak or something somewhere. We don't know. They don't know what it is. They're searching. So they don't want us up that way. So we're back here.
Outside of being shaken up, you okay?
I'm okay. Just shook up. Yeah, I'm okay. Thank God. God is good.
A gentleman who should be thanking God right now, and probably is, he left for work at 6:30 this morning and from one of the houses that exploded. And he described, his name is Leon Phillips, he described the house as a rooming house. There were several apartments in this house. A pregnant lady, he says, lived in the basement, and there were 3 other apartments on various floors. He left the house, he went to work, he heard about this and came rushing back to the scene, and he has been trying to reach his friends for the longest time and has been unsuccessful, and of course, he's worried sick. Back to you. What kind of house is this, and who do you know who lives inside?
It's a rooming house. Okay, I know Jerome Jackson, Lonnie. She's Jerome's a friend. And this young lady, I don't know her name, downstairs, and her friend name is Terry. He lives downstairs.
Someone who lives in the house is also pregnant?
Yes, down in the basement.
You seem very worried about them. Have you been able to get a hold of anybody?
I'm worried about all of them. Yep.
What have you been trying to do to get a hold of them?
I've been calling around, see if anybody, they seen anybody, Call the hospital or whatever.
And you can't actually see the house close up, but enough of it to realize. What are your thoughts?
Amazing. Thank God I got out. I went to work this morning.
Antoinetta, right? Yeah. We're live right now, and you had said that you live about
right
eight houses down. 2 houses down. All right. So tell me what happened. And you said you were digging through the rubble to try and save people.
I was in the house. I heard the explosion. I came out. I saw the smoke and running, and this gentleman right here, Dean, we met at the foot of the alley, at the mouth of the alley. This man had no shoes on. We just kept going down there. We got down there and we realized the houses had exploded. We were throwing debris. We were throwing it. There was a couple of other neighbors down there. They were throwing. We kept telling them to yell out. We could hear them saying, "Help me, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here." So we just throwing. The guys was like, "You get out of here. You're a girl. You don't need to be here." And I was like, "Dad, I was trying to help." I come back up the street. I see the police. I flagged them down. They get down there. One of the officers jumped in. He got the throwing bricks. This is something that you don't see in real life. You only see it on television.
I mean, what did you think when you heard the boom and then saw what was going on over there?
First, I thought it was my window air conditioner blowing up, and I went because the wood or the paper that I have in there, it had blew out. So I'm like, what in the world? But when I went out there, I didn't initially expect to be houses, maybe a transformer box from the heat or something like that, or maybe a car, or it was an accident where 2 cars collided in a big boom. I didn't expect to get down the street and see that.
Do you know any of the people that were injured, or I heard that unfortunately one woman was killed?
I don't know my neighbors. I just raise my hand and speak. I don't know a lot of them, but I do know we have a lot of elderly neighbors here in the neighborhood. They know because me and my kids, I've been here for like 15 years. Mm-hmm. So I've seen kids grow up in the neighborhood. I've seen these people when they walk, and we just speak. And I used to work part-time in the Dollar Tree, so they would come up and we would speak, "Hey neighbor," but I didn't know them like personally to know their names.
Did you hear anyone under the rubble when you were digging, or what did you hear?
We heard them, "Help, help, I'm here, help, I'm right here, help me, I'm here, help me, I'm here, I'm here." And we kept telling them to call out, just keep yelling, call out, so that we could hear, so we could go in to pinpoint the area where we needed to throw the rubble.
And this gentleman over here helped you out?
This man was out there in socks, no shoes, people. That's heroic to me.
Can I ask you a quick question? You, same thing. I mean, what did you think when you saw? I'm gonna come through here. What did you think when you saw that?
Man, it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, to be honest with you. I was sitting on the porch, and I just heard a loud explosion, and I saw a smoke plume go up in the air, and something just said, "Somebody's hurt bad." I took off, not even thinking, without shoes, just socks. I ran down my alley, made a left on the fair lawn, made another right, made another left into the alley, and it was just chaos. It was a power line that was down, a live wire. It was debris scattered all through the alley, houses up and down the block, broken windows, and you could smell gas. And honestly, I didn't think. I just said, you know what, someone's in there. And so we went, me, this young lady right here, a couple other neighbors, and we just started digging. We started calling out, "Is anybody in here? If you're in here, can you say something so we know that you're here?" So we split apart, we went different ways, and we just did everything that we could do.
So you were like the comforting effort, really, before even any fire crews got here, right?
We were literally the first 5 people on the scene. The police department came. You know, we told them like, hey, it's people trapped right here. So we stayed to assist them. The first fire department personnel that came, we stayed to assist them. Like, we went brick to brick with them. Like, we didn't leave. You know, it was other people filming. Like, we were just worried about trying to get people out. And once they said it was a kid in there, it's like, I lost it. You know, it's like, I got to get in here now. You know, so I just felt like, hey, what if it was me? I'm not a hero. I'm a human. That's it.
Does it give you some solace that, you know, 5 people were saved? I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, it makes me feel good, you know, that it was people that survived. I actually went and talked to the older lady that we were able to assist. The other people were a little bit more bad off, so they had to go rush to the hospital. But I mean, it makes me feel good that I was able to do, you know, something good, you know, do a good deed for someone else. You know, so but I'm definitely sorry, but for the ones that lost their lives. I mean, it's tragic. Like, that scene is like comparable to something in like Beirut.
Just couldn't believe it. Huh?
Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that. And I've lived in Baltimore City all my life. I've been on a block that was a gas explosion before, and it was nothing like that. That right there was like, it's almost like somebody just took a bomb out the sky and just dropped it on these 3 houses. I mean, they were completely level. Never seen anything like that.
And what's your name?
Dean Jones.
Dean, Baltimore needs more neighbors like you.
Thank you, sir.